your boy SKANDOUZ the Hip Hop Original alongside DJ.
Tom Foolery beats.
We are the Connoisseurs of Hip Hop, and it's that time again. We've come to the end of another season of head-to-head interview series. In fact, the final season of the head-to-head interview season and series. And what we usually do, me and Tom will come together and we'll kind of recap the season and give you a bit of behind the scenes thoughts and feelings about the whole
Hmm.
process and how it all came together. And Tom will give me some feedback on what he thought of the interviews as well. And that's kind
Yeah.
of the format of how these go, you know? So it's a
Yeah.
bit of fun, man. So, I mean, Tom, having seen season five, how does it, what was your overall feeling of the season this year?
Oof. Damn. Yeah, I mean it's great as always, man. Lots of very interesting interviews, I mean, and from all sorts of artists at different levels in the game. There's
Mm,
people kind of quite quite new on the scene,
yeah.
or and then there's like living legends, So, there's a real range right now.
Nice. So before we'll start with a recap of our first episode, just to familiarize people that are watching this and are not familiar with the head-to-head interview series, it's an interview series that we started during lockdown, where we had an opportunity to, provide a platform for artists who may have had projects coming out, and an opportunity for us to interview some artists we never got round to interviewing on our radio show or our other platforms. So it was fun. And also it was around the time we put out our first book, which was showcasing some of our classic interviews. So that is the
Hmm.
reasoning behind the head-to-head interview series. Now this season, which is season five, the fifth and final season, we follow the usual format of 10 episodes or 10 interviews. This season, we interviewed Skillet, hip hop artist, in episode one, the legendary Fredro Starr from Onyx in episode two, Ayama, an amazing singer-songwriter, in episode three, the Pataka Boys, which are made up of UK
Hmm.
hip hop legends Pavan and Sunny Jim.
Yeah.
We had from the Rap Exchange, Anyway the God, and Who Dat. We had episode six. We had a legendary hip hop producer by the name of Jay Rawls, who put out an album with Talib Kweli. Seven. We had the legend that is Doc Brown, rapper slash actor, author, and an
Hmm.
amazing producer called Tony Bones, who and together they collaborated and made a brilliant album. Then we got to another great MC and, someone who doesn't really get the spotlight. So it was important for me personally to reach out and grab this interview. That was Chuck's. And then
Hmm.
episode nine was probably one of the most prolific rappers in the game, rapper and producer Ray Vendetta. And then we finished the season with an incredible female MC from the US, Sarok. And
Hmm.
in addition to the standard 10 episodes that we do, we also dropped a couple of bonus episodes featuring Archer, an incredible artist and one third of the Freshers, part of the Connoisseurs Hip Hop family, and KG, who is the leader of the Rap Exchange. So that is the whole season in a nutshell. But let's jump back to episode number one, which was Skillet, Tom.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on that
Yeah.
interview?
Well, I mean, I just remember going on his show,
Mhm.
um, which was good. So I know he's a DJ, and he does all that side of it as well on
Yeah.
the radio, just like we used to.
Hmm.
Um, and he kind of lives and breathes it. You kind of get that feeling with him.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean his project was very, very kind of, I don't know. It was quite varied in terms of the different type of songs on it. There
Hmm.
might be kind of, I don't know. it's not just like straight hip hop all the time. There's kind
Yeah,
of there might be a tune for the ladies or something, or you know,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
But he's kind of catering for different people on that one,
Yeah, he's got
definitely.
quite a variety, a palette. There's a bit of grime influences in there, and he's actually got an album with Dre Styles from the Freshers, which is
Really?
coming.
Right.
Yeah, which sounds incredible. So that's going to be coming out in the next
Oh
few
man.
months. So yeah, man, he gets busy. So yeah, that
Oh
was a great
nice.
album. That was a great interview, and it was around the time his album dropped, and he had the big album launch.
Hmm.
At the O2 actually, Indigo, which was really cool. And yeah, so we followed up episode one with episode two, the hip hop legend that is Fredro Starr. What did you think of that interview?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Onyx, just for them to like to chat, you know, to have time to
Mm,
chat to people is you know commendable because you know they're like going all around Europe and stuff, and I don't. I seem to remember he was like walking down the street and stuff and like talking to you at the same time, and it was like,
yeah, oh, yeah,
this is great.
because that's our second
It's like,
interview with him. The first time we interviewed with him, he was in his car. This interview, I think he was in a hotel room eating some food. So it's
right, yeah, well, something like
yeah,
that, yeah. But so
yeah,
he's always got time for you. That's the thing, because some people might say, but like, no, I'm not doing it. I need like
yeah.
you know, a moment. I need it. Yeah, I need a separate room. I need, you know, everything like that. But you know, he's always happy to talk to us.
Yeah.
And they're really busy, man. Really busy, doing great things.
Yeah, which
I
is
mean,
great for us.
Slam is such a Slam is they can sort of live off the back of that track for the rest of time.
Yeah, it's
Really.
it's iconic, man. And at the end of the day, who are we? We're just the connoisseurs of hip hop, and he's given us the time, and yeah, really honored to have that opportunity. He does a lot for our profile as well to be able to say that we've had Onyx, well, Fredro Starr from the Onyx on our platform on more than one occasion, so that's also great.
Mm,
And yeah,
yeah, yeah,
the live show's amazing. They've still got that energy, even in their 50s, so it's something to aspire to as an
yeah,
artist.
yeah. I like that. I mean, that was a good sort of thing about the series as well. That there were some artists that we've hooked up with before.
Hmm.
And it's good to see the progression, you know, a little bit further down the road and, you know, and where they are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So episode three was a singer-songwriter called Ayama, who you might remember being a guest host
Oh,
on the Connoisseurs of Hip Hop
yeah, yeah.
right at the
Uh,
start of her career.
well, and
So,
the 100th episode, she was there as well, I'm sure.
mhm.
Um, with Rodney P.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think that was the first time she was on.
Mm,
And yeah, wow. I mean, yeah, I'm full of like superlatives for her, man. She's
mm,
just awesome. Like
yeah, yeah.
such a talented singer.
Mm,
Um, And yeah, I mean she's doing it. She's like performing in LA and stuff uh and going all over the world with
yeah,
it.
and the live
And she's
show's
getting
amazing.
millions of listeners, you know,
And
like
she
next
hooked,
level stuff.
yeah, man, and she hooked up with that dope producer friend of ours as well. Yeah, it's
Of course,
just
Pitch 92.
Pitch 92. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah, there was a moment in that interview where I'm sure she was still I kind of understood it like she was talking to me because I know that well, Earth to Tom sent her some tracks. And she was like, she said something like some producers have sent us some tracks, and I was like, and I, and it's like, it just wasn't straight up hip hop enough. And I was like,
Yeah.
damn, I sent you like the neo soul tracks, like
Mm.
the only three we've done.
And
Wrong
she's
move,
a
man.
full hip hop head, man. She likes her boom bap. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
yeah.
But so
Oh,
she's very happy with Pitch 92.
yeah. And he dropped some big tracks for her, man. So yeah. So the other one, the next interview, which in terms of numbers is probably out of the head-to-head interview series, is probably the most popular one we've done, which is the Pataka Boys, made up of Pavan and Sonny Jim.
Mm.
What did you think of that interview?
Oh yeah, I thought that interview was essential to the understanding of that album. as well.
Yeah.
And just seeing how, all the Indian references for a start, how to say the title of the album, like,
Mm.
you know, and the fact that they kind of went out there and immersed themselves in that culture to shoot the
Yeah.
videos and for it to come together.
Yeah.
I see them, they're quite different individuals
Mm.
somehow.
Yeah.
I see I see Pavan as I don't know, like maybe the person who he seems very logical and like maybe like he's the one who maybe gets things done
Mm.
or has the mastermind ideas. And
Right.
then Sonny Jim just has like the raw skills and well he's just an excellent MC. You can tell he loves it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um
He's fantastic, man. And revelations such as Mongo from Mudfam actually being of Indian
yeah,
heritage, which I had no idea, as long as I
exactly.
know
And the
that
fact
guy.
that and the fact that everyone involved on that project has some kind of link to India.
Yeah, brilliant,
Yeah,
man. And
yeah.
that's probably one of the reasons why it's done the most numbers, because anything that
Mm.
is in the direction of that market does numbers. So that tells you, you know.
Oh yeah, I forgot the name of the producer. What was? Can you remember his name?
Well, off
Oh,
the
I'm
top of
putting you on
my
the
head,
spot here.
put me on the spot, man. I'll insert it across the bottom
But
strip.
well, the guy who made that whole album, that
Yeah,
that has been a bit of a revelation for me as well.
yeah,
Um, Even though I've forgotten his name, but
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, I was really impressed with his stuff. I checked out his instrumental projects as well, and
Mm.
it begins with a P, something like well,
Yeah, yeah. We'll just put
Partek,
it here.
Partek, something like that.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
and yeah, so everything on that is done by him, and they
Hmm.
and they were like, it was quite funny how they were like, I told you about this guy like 3 years ago. Why have we not done something with him yet?
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. That
but yeah,
interview
just
was a
seeing
lot.
how they vibe.
Yeah, that interview was a lot of fun, man. And then we followed that up episode 5 with Anyway to God and Joker Star. Anyway to God being,
Mm,
I believe, maybe even a three-time
mm,
guest on our platform, head-to-head platform, because he done another joint interview
mm.
with Joker Star. And then I think season 1 or 2, he did a solo interview. So
Right, yeah.
yeah, yeah, man. Prolific, prolific. Great album with Who Dat. Did you get a chance to check that one out?
And he kind of had his mouth covered, didn't he? Had his face covered, is that right?
That's who that. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. Well, yeah, I might have gone over that one slightly
Mm,
slightly quickly. I don't know. I
yeah,
think I
yeah.
checked out their music a little bit.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, obviously it's dope. Yeah, for
Very
sure.
prolific, some great shows that they're doing, and they're very like I see them about. They got almost literally had a residency at the Jazz Cafe, man. Nearly every big hip hop artist that came out,
Oh yeah,
they
you
would
said
be
with the
doing.
K in the
Yeah,
KG interview. Yeah, you said that
yeah,
they're
yeah,
like the
yeah.
most frequent
Literally.
artists.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, at
So
the Jazz Cafe.
they're really doing their thing, man. They're getting out there. So episode 6, we had Jay Rules. What did you think of that interview?
Whoa. Well, yeah, that I mean that's royalty right there, isn't it?
Mm,
That's hip hop
mm, mm.
royalty there on the Black Star,
Yeah,
producing what was it, Brown Skin Woman,
brown screen lady. Yeah.
Brown Skin Lady, and
Mm,
yeah, Lone Catalyst stuff, of course.
yeah.
Um,
Some
and
J
man,
Live
that
stuff.
that album is really dope. That album is
Mm,
so dope, and it's just like, well, it's just great to see them still doing it at the very top of the game, and
yeah.
even bringing in the next generation like Coast Contra, still
Mm,
hooking up with people like who was it, Buckshot and these old, I guess these guys who are also legends,
yeah, yeah,
but. And he was like, "Oh yeah, Talib did most of that. He did most of like the, getting the features and stuff. He
yeah,
just makes the call and that's it.
yeah,
He was like, I
yeah,
made the beats."
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, man, because it was such a great album, but it kind of flew under the radar for everybody's favorite albums for last year, man. But it's interesting to see that even though Talib is still that guy who's literally can, like you said, pick up the phone and get nearly anybody on an album.
Yeah, and
So it's just
just be like, oh, hey, Madlib, how you doing? You want to make something? Cool.
yeah, yeah. So,
Same.
that's brilliant, man. So yeah, and it was great to see that how Jay Rose is an educator like us as well, doing hip hop. I think he's a
Oh
lecturer
yeah,
as well. So yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was really good and really fascinating because obviously there wasn't many Jay Rose interviews that I could actually find. So I
Right.
think we're in rarefied air, with that particular interview. So
Yeah.
that's also an added bonus for us, I guess, you know. And then we follow that up with the man, the
Mm.
myth that is Doc Brown and Tony Bones. So what did you think of that interview?
Yeah. That's interesting because well, I mean, I didn't know Tony Bones was from like Poole or somewhere like that. Like quite you know, I always thought he was a London guy because
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he grew up in Bournemouth. So yeah,
is it Bournemouth? Yeah, Bournemouth, right.
yeah,
Um, but of course he was with that London crew.
Jungle
Was it
Brown.
London? No, I know it's not a London crew in the end.
So they
What's the
met
name of
him,
his?
Jungle Brown. So they used to do
Yeah,
a lot
Jungle
of
Brown. Yeah,
shows with freshers back in the day. Um,
yeah, they are. I mean, Jungle Brown. So they kind of dissolved, have they? They like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
split up,
technically, yeah,
so to
yeah.
speak.
Hmm.
Well, that's a big shame, man, because they
Yeah.
were great.
Hmm.
Um, and I know you've had some beats from Rick and things like that,
Yeah, yeah.
but it
So
was kind of how they all brought different things to the table.
yeah, and the fact that Tony's such a in-demand producer right now, if you ever see his Instagram, he's always making beats, and
Mm.
he's literally in high demand. And like Doc said, he kind of
Oh,
brought Doc
yeah,
Brown out of retirement to do that album.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, I mean that's power, right?
Yeah.
Like if you influence someone that much, if someone
Mm,
put down the mic for like how long? I don't know,
yeah. So,
too
yeah,
long,
yeah,
and getting
yeah,
them back on it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's been literally chopping and changing careers. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like Will Smith
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Literally, like Doc is like a fully
coming back and doing an album.
established actor, and it literally took the actor's strike and lockdown to make him, decide to pick up the pen again and do an album, and yeah, and then we finally got it last
And it's
year,
wicked, yeah.
and the live show was
It
great,
it
project's
made me
great.
dust off a couple of my Doc Brown records, whatever,
Mm,
one he did with
yeah,
Harry Love at least.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, and he was talking about the Poisonous Poets a lot as well, and
mm,
how he got
yeah,
into it.
yeah,
That's all
yeah.
cool.
It's got a rich history, man, in
Good to
its
hear it.
UK hip hop, and what a lot of people
Well, he
might not
loves
even
it. You can tell
realize.
it's in him, and he grew
Yeah.
up on it, and it's part of him. So
Yeah, exactly. Absolute legend, man. And then with episode 8, we caught up with an old friend, and for those people that are into trivia, an original Freshers member, Chooks, who was in the one crew with Sway and Archer. And this was a great interview for me because we touched on subjects which was literally like pretty new for us as interviewers. We've never really
yeah,
delved into religion. Obviously, both having
religion
like religion and mental health. You
and mental
know,
health. Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Religion is like a taboo. It's like politics. It's like
Mm,
don't go there because you run the risk of like separating people, or
yeah,
you're gonna offend someone, or
mm,
you're gonna lose followers or whatever.
yeah, yeah,
You're gonna be unpopular for someone.
mm,
But then people admire his honesty,
mm,
how he, lost his kind of lost his religion in a way,
yeah,
or kind of, and then I don't, well, I'm not
yeah,
sure if he refound it or what, but he definitely asks a lot of like pertinent questions about it, and
mm, yeah,
and I
and
think a lot of people have asked themselves these questions, and
yeah, yeah,
they're like, oh right, and they'll be able to relate to that,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Yeah. And the album is fantastic, man. It's not on DSP. It's only on Bandcamp. grab the devil by the
Mm.
horns. He's
Mm.
a very, I think the word that he uses is courageous, and it's rare when you hear an artist be that honest and that vulnerable in their music, because like you said, you're taking risks, you'll trigger some people, but like, um, I believe in his talent. I think he's phenomenal, and that's why I was so happy after all these
Oh
years
yeah.
to finally get an opportunity to sit down with him. And
Oh
then
yeah.
sorry, did you want to
And
say?
I did check out the stuff he did with Nobleman as well, actually,
Yeah,
because that's like a live band, right?
yeah, live hip hop band. So
Yeah,
very
and
similar to
quite
Roots.
yeah,
Yeah,
their stuff is really dope, man. I
yeah,
mean, definitely give that a listen as well. They dropped
mm.
something real recently as well,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
end of
yeah.
last year.
hmm So definitely check out Noblemen, man. And so then we had episode number 9, which was Raven Detta, which was again that was kind of like the lost episode, man, because we'd actually shot that very
Mm.
early in the year, and
Yeah.
the guy that filmed it for me, he kind of like sent the interview like as a jigsaw, and I was like, I never had time to edit it literally till Christmas. That's when I had some free
Yeah.
time to literally sit down and
Well.
piece it together.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah,
Well, it looked pretty seamless, man. Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't even
So,
notice.
so
Good
yeah,
job.
yeah.
What I like about that one is how it's just like you guys are like chilling in his studio,
Mm,
in his yard, and he's happy to, he's happy to welcome you in, and like, it's like you're just chatting like mates.
yeah.
And I think, well, in a lot of these interviews, that's what I like about it. It's like the proximity with the artist.
Mm,
Like you're on the same level almost.
yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, hearing about him and how prolific he was and all the kind of comic stuff, the comic book stuff that he has.
Mm,
He's a real like aficionado of comics. You
mm,
and you know, I didn't know that. I mean, I'm sure his fans know that. They must know about it from the artwork by now. But and that's something that I thought, oh, that's kind of novel, and
yeah.
I bet there's some dope artwork in there.
Mm,
So as well as dope music, obviously.
yeah, yeah.
And
Of course.
he's part of Triple Darkness, isn't he?
Triple Darkness, the
I
New
remember
Guard.
Chester P saying good things about them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, need to be
Phenomenal
checked out.
art, phenomenal artist, man. And then we closed the season with for the second time having the US rapper Sarok coming back. She came back to the UK, but even though I met her in the UK, I interviewed her while she was in Europe. But
Mm.
again, that was a great interview, you know.
Yeah, and she's kind of um yeah, I mean she's one of like the best MCs. Let's not put our foot in it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
she's a dope MC, like
Mm,
and one of the dopest at the moment.
yeah.
And she's repping, doing her world tours and stuff, and
Mm-mm. And
um
she definitely had elevated a lot from the last time we interviewed her. She went to the BET Awards. She did a tour with Rah Digga and Pharoah Monch. So she definitely had a lot more to say. And in fact, this interview was probably more in depth than our first interview because I think it was on quite a tight time limit with the first one. But this time it was
right.
more relaxed. It was more revealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. You know.
Yeah, I remember, and that album, that was the Sharecropper's Daughter one on
Mm,
Rhymesayers, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah.
So
She
yeah,
had,
so she's hooking up with the right people as well. But it
yeah, she
seems
had.
like even this many years further down the road, what, like 5 years or something, she's
Mm,
now she's like treading the red carpet a little bit more,
yeah, 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 yeah.
sort of thing.
Hmm. So yeah, so that was the
Definitely.
actual season, but then obviously we had bonus interviews. So we had Archer from the Freshers, obviously talking about the album, his comeback, because I think it was about 7 years
Mm.
after his last album. So excluding Freshers projects, of course. So yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so
After part two, Urban Tales
yeah,
part
yeah,
two.
yeah. Urban Tales Part
Wow,
2. Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
is a long time. I mean, because originally it was just Urban Tales, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
the split up into three parts.
yeah. Mm,
Um, that was kind of a move from Kevin, was it?
What? No, that was me. I told him to do it.
Oh, you did. Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he
Yeah.
he presented an
No, it's a good
album, and I
move.
said that was too long, man, and it feels like it's in three sections. So make three albums, and that's what he did, you know. But he just took his time putting out
Yeah.
the third project. But I had a posthumous verse from Ty on there as well, so it was very
Yeah, it's
special,
wicked.
you know. Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
yeah. And you can tell they had that kind of synergy
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
And well, yeah, what other things? Oof. I remember particularly I actually really appreciated the singles that I think there's a couple of them as bonus tracks on the vinyl.
Mm,
And that was quite interesting to see actually that you can get the vinyl.
yeah,
Um, and it's a kind of um, what is it? You kind of order it. How do you
yeah.
call it? They make as many copies as people want,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Made to order, really. You know, and
Made to
that's and
order, basically.
that's yeah, and that's save you from having your house look like a warehouse. You know, so this just gets made
That's
to
it.
order now. You
But
know, I think that's
yes,
the new way of doing things, man. So yeah, and then
absolutely good
the
for independent artists. Yeah,
of course,
for
man,
sure.
great for independent artists. Probably not great splits wise though, but yeah, you know, got to do
Yeah.
what you got to do, man. And then the our final bonus episode, which was KG, from the Rap Exchange. You said you caught some of that
Mm.
interview.
Yeah, caught a little bit of it.
Mm,
Um, yeah, it was just interesting to know that they're doing such big things, and then like seeing them performing, seeing how people react to them, you
yeah,
know, they're obviously big on the scene at the moment. So,
yeah, and I
if you
see
want
them a
a
lot.
show filled with energy,
Yeah, and I
go
see
catch
them at a
them. Yeah.
lot of shows, man. They really stick together as a crew. They're really tight like that. They go everywhere together.
Mm.
So, you know, it's really good to see that as well, man. And the fact that he's an actual martial artist as well. So like
Oh
he's
yeah, yeah.
he's a very dangerous man. So, you know.
Right, right. That helps sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
Gives you confidence.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah. I thought overall it was a nice solid season of the head-to-heads. Definitely up there with some of our previous seasons, you know. And yeah, it's pretty dope all round, man. Is there anything else you want to say, reflecting on the seasons as over the last 5 years with
Wow, the
5 for 5?
seasons. Oh my goodness. Man, you've interviewed so many amazing people. Um, yeah, I mean, I wish I could have a list of people in front of me who you've interviewed. But
Hmm. What
I
I'm,
mean,
what
I
I
know
might do,
it's
I might do like a credit thing at the end of this and just do a long roll call of all the interviews. You know, the things you can do in post
yeah,
editing, you know. But
yeah.
yeah,
No, why
so
not?
it's interesting because it's the 5 years has kind of come between books as well. So we dropped the first book before we dropped season one
Yeah,
of the head-to-head season, and then at the end of the
right.
season five, you know, we've got another book on the horizon, which is pretty cool.
That's
So
right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all done and dusted, but for the forward.
Mm,
And we've already had the first little draft in, so
mm.
that's getting done.
Yeah, that's pretty
So
cool,
just
man.
tying
Yeah,
up those
but
loose ends. Yeah.
yeah, and I think even though the head-to-head series is done, you know, that's not the end of us doing interviews. You know, we'll just look at new ways of doing things. And when specials, I'll do head-to-head specials, like if that particular interviews come in. So it's just the
Hmm.
time to do a whole season now. We're very busy at the moment, and it's like we want to try and
Yeah.
evolve into the next phase of things. You know, really want to
Oh,
develop the
but yeah,
website this year.
you can just keep it sporadic and when you've got another 10, call
Mm.
that season six, whenever it may be.
Yeah, yeah. So never say never.
You
You may get a
know.
season six one day, but for now, we're gonna put that on pause, you know. And definitely thank everybody that's, you know, listened to these interviews, that's, you know, maybe got something from them interviews. And if you're watching right now, like write in the comments if there are any interviews from any of the seasons that particularly stuck out to you for any particular reasons, you know, rare and elusive ones like Funky DL or, you know, Lewis Parker or
Mm.
Shorty Blitz. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
there's so
Lewis
many.
Parker. Woo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so many that we've
Oh
done.
yeah, so some of those are to come in the book, of
Yeah,
course.
Sarah Love,
Yeah, they're
there's
being transcribed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So many, man. But yeah, so we're gonna put a pin in it there, guys. I want to thank you lot for listening. Thanks, Tom, for joining me on this I
Pleasure,
guess
man. Great to see you as
recap
always.
recap of our head to head in season 5, and we will catch you guys on the next one. So for me, SKANDOUZ the Hip Hop Original and DJ,
Tom Foolery beats.
till next time, peace.
Peace.